Recently, I made a video essay talking about Mascot horror games and how I personally believe there is a new wave of fun, innovative, and exciting games being flooded into this little subgenre of horror. It was a lot of fun to make. I'm super happy with how it turned out, and holy shit, I got that many views? What the fuck? One of the games I ended up talking about was a little game called Indigo Park. Created by Unique Geese and funded as a passion project, he was advertising a super fun and interesting look into Mascot horror that slapped hard, honestly, based on the trailers alone. If you want to know my initial thoughts and feelings before release, go check out the video essay. It's probably the most proud I have ever been for a video, honestly. Today, however, I wanted to talk about my current thoughts on the game since it has fully released on Steam completely for free to play, and see if it lived up to my hype, talk about my critiques, and what my hopes are for the future of this game. So let's start off with the basics. Do I like Indigo Park? The short answer is yes. The long answer is, well, that's why I'm making a video, right? Indigo Park follows our protagonist as he attempts to unravel the mystery behind the closing of the once lively place of joy. What starts out innocent enough leads the player into the nightmarish remains of the once entertainment-filled place of joy and whimsy. The setup with the player having an attachment to the park due to his mother and him visiting it as a child, I think really worked a heck of a lot better than if he were like an ex-employee or something. There isn't some letter saying he's gotta see this crazy thing. There's no missing kids. It's just like a YouTuber exploring abandoned places, just trying to get some answers about a once joyous part of their life. Rambly, our guide for the game, is an adorable little raccoon with a lot of spunk and personality. I already went into the game knowing that he would probably resonate with me based on the trailers and snippets of gameplay we've gotten to see, and Isaac was correct as he is quirky and as charming as presumed. The other characters, while minimally, have been fleshed out pretty simply, but effectively as well. Molly McCaw is our aviator, who I really am wondering what school gave her a license to fly in the first place since she can't seem to land properly. Portrayed as somewhat klutzy, she sticks by Rambly's side as his best friend and confidant. Molly's mascot form is designed super well and built up pretty good throughout the level, peering around corners, tripping little noises for the player, and overall leading into a chase scene that is alright in my opinion, but we'll come back to that later. We meet other characters a little less briefly, like Finley, a shy yet good-natured sea serpent, whom is best boy in my opinion, who we actually get to see a glimpse of at the very end of Chapter 1 in person. Salem the skunk, who we see a broken cutout of and are featured in a little mini arcade game, and of course, the most stage-hungry of all, and possibly flesh-hungry, mammal himself, Lloyd the Lion. Now I'd be lying if I didn't say I loved Lloyd more in his voice role than his animal mascot form. I think his cartoony design and outfit choice really sell his attitude portrayal quite well, more than what we end up getting when we meet the mascot in the theater. He's a lot less polished than Molly's IRL form, and for me, just kind of feels like whiplash when we go from this to this. I sort of wish he just had like flipped clothes or something and not just a lion with a blue nose and fluffy mane. However, I will give credit to the fact that he scared the absolute shit out of me with this jump scare here. I hear what? Ah! Also, I just love the fact that Rambly hates Lloyd with all of his fucking virtual heart, honestly. Like, I'm really just invested in that drama of why they aren't friends anymore. It's great seeing that little trash panda give him the side eye on the train. In terms of environment, I gotta be honest, it is perfect, and I have a huge bias if I'm being straight with you. I went to Disney a lot as a kid with my dad, so those memories have stuck with me super hard in terms of amusement parks. So seeing how well it's designed overall and lively and colorful, it just took me back to those good times I had growing up, which, to be honest, works in its favor, because while it's gorgeous and feels so visually appealing, it kind of brought my guard down because of the comfort of it, which really intensified the scares. Congrats, Geese. You played to my nostalgia. Epic job. The inside interiors, like the backstage part of the studio, the entry area of Molly's part of the park, Finley's water exhibit, solid. The only one I wasn't totally in love with, not because it's designed bad or anything, was the play place area. I think it's beautifully done, and I love the little bouncy pads and such to get you from place to place. Nice little touch, honestly, but it just feels so clean. I mean, yeah, there's some gunk and stuff here and there, but it's so bright and colorful in contrast with the rest of the park being kind of run down and such. I don't know, I think it's fine. Just needs a little more wear and tear if we were ever to revisit the area anytime soon, or visually similar places. Maybe some little bits of flashing lights or something, I don't know. Take this with a grain of salt, since I loved Poppy Chapter 3's play set to pieces. Maybe I got a little bias. I couldn't tell you. Gameplay-wise, if I'm being honest, it's very standard with how it does things. You run around with a flashlight, do a few tasks for Rambly, grab a couple items, that's it. It isn't doing anything groundbreaking, and while I totally agree it doesn't need to, this is more of a pilot, as Geese has stated in the past. It honestly still feels like I was just visiting set pieces mostly, with a chase sequence that, if I'm being honest, is kind of simple. For me, it sort of loses its charm right after Molly opens the door. Gets a little interesting with the jump pad section, but overall just has you running from point A to point B. Molly gets her head chopped off, it's over. Now don't get me wrong, I am fully aware that this is the first chapter of the game. It's not gonna go super crazy just yet. But like, I wish it just had a little more spunk to it, honestly. Molly is more of a spooky entity than an intimidating force, honestly, when you're just running through the place and she's just sort of marching towards you. I kind of wish it was just more where she was like running with her wings out, kind of bent forward a little bit, making you, the player, feel smaller and her feeling bigger, and creating this sort of more fearful thing, even if the model is not bigger, you know what I mean? Just sort of little cheats like that. Again, this is chapter 1, so I'm not holding any grudges over this. I have the feeling with the game getting over $100,000 worth of funding on its Kickstarter, and it's only been out for like a week now, it being a good sign that they're going to improve a lot of the animations and overall gameplay. I'm not expecting a gimmick or something, just something to do other than solve puzzles and walk from point A to point B over and over and over and over. I think honestly I'm just a silent antagonist fan. I hate when the monster can talk back most times, so having Molly talk back in the final chase also just doesn't work for me fully, honestly. A few quick things I wanted to say as well before we wrap up that I didn't have too much to say on, so I'll just kind of, rapid fire them. The music in the game slaps super hard, along with all the audio work put into the game. The collectibles and merch featured in the game is super awesome, and I hope will one day become real. You know, as soon as I got paid the other day from Droid that I bought a Rambly plushie. The train sequence is super cute and teases things without directly calling out to the player saying, "Hey, look at this thing here, it'll be important later." The arcade cabinet was a nice little break that more than likely sets up conflict in future chapters. I fucking love Rambly's voice actor. He does a super solid job bringing him to life that I will fail in comparison to forever. The 2D animation is super fun and blends great with Rambly's little glitches seamlessly. If I could just make one suggestion to you though, Mr. Geese, I would eat any Rambly flavored foods presented, please. Release a cookbook. That's honestly probably the one thing I love when games do. If they create real dishes I can make from their universe, this would be the greatest modern Mascot game ever. I'm sorry, I like food. Indigo Park Chapter 1 is a good starting point that I think has its feet on the ground with a lot of solid ideas. While it isn't perfect, it's doing a lot of stuff right that I have a feeling will be improved come time for Chapter 2's release. Geese, if you ever watch this, congrats on the launch of Indigo Park. I know I will be visiting when its doors open again in the future. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all did enjoy. I want to try to get this out as soon as I could because despite all the negatives I did mention, I really do think this game has a lot of potential and I truly hope to see it flourish in its future. I'll definitely be doing another one of these when Finding Frankie comes out, and of course when I end up playing My Friendly Neighborhood all the way through, I'll be doing one as well since I covered both of those in the video essay. Did this one for the video essay, you know what I'm trying to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed and I will see you all next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye!